Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So today we continue to discuss about the Eightfold Paths, and last time we discussed about the wise effort. That means we need to eliminate some unwholesome karmas like killing, stealing, and so forth. And internally, we need to transform our hatred, delusions, greed, jealousy, and so forth. And if we have keep our mind away from them, we need to maintain that. And that's one pair. Another pair is that we need to develop loving kindness, compassion, joyfulness, forgiveness, and so forth. And if we have not started yet, so we need to initiate to practice those wholesome deeds or good thoughts in our mind. So that is another pair. So, but like I discussed last time, we need to have the motivations to do, to initiate those thoughts, action, and speech. Because without motivation, we would force ourselves to do them, and it would not last longer. So the motivation is that we know as long as we harbor the hatred, jealousy, anger, and so forth, most of the time we bring the harms to ourselves and others, and vice versa. We know that when we develop the loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and so forth, we will bring the benefit for ourselves and others. So that's one of the main motivations. So again, with this kind of wise effort, we push ourselves, lead ourselves into that path, the path of wholesomeness. But without my training, it's not easy for us to put much effort in the short and long term. So that's why the next categories we are going to discuss is wise concentrations or dry concentration. So again, like I discussed last time, in Buddhism, when we talk about right or wrong, it's not only based on moralities, but also rely upon how we bring benefit ourselves and others, or how we may harm ourselves and others. That's what we define right and wrong. No one uh, defined or made a judgment right or wrong, but conventionally, as human, we establish rules and laws based upon the common sense that we live together in harmonies, in the specific ways. So again, if we do some things that may be beneficial to ourselves and others in the short term and long term, that's what we call right. And on the other hand, if we think, say, or act that may bring the harm to ourselves and others in short and long term, that's what in conventional way is called wrong. So again, here, when we talk about the mind training, it's so important that we have the right concentration. But let us discuss why it's so important to have this kind of mind training. Without mind training, there's no way for us to develop the wise understanding or wise intention. Let me share with you one more time the charge of the Eightfold Path. We discussed already wise view or wise understanding, wise intention, wise speech, action, livelihood, and wise effort. That's what we have discussed. So again, without my training, it's easy for us to force ourselves to follow some kind of moralities. For example, we know that we're not supposed to tell lie, but if we could not control our mind, even uh, we know that's wrong to tell lie, but still, it's not easy to restrain from lying. So that's why my training is so important. Now, another thing is that yes, when we talk about like wise intention, that means we need to develop loving kindness, compassion, and so forth. If we don't have mind training, it's not easy for us to maintain that kind of wise intention. For example, let's say while I'm driving the car on the road and I see a homeless person, I may reach down to my seat that I have banana, cookie, or water bottles I want to give to that homeless person. But what happened? Even the car, um, uh, our friends, relatives, and whoever saying that why do you need to give to that stranger? Why do you need to share with them instead of uh, keeping those foods and drink for yourself? And again, if I would not have any strong determination to give those food and drink to the homeless person, I would be waved. I would be hesitated that I would not give those things to that person because of the suggestion from the one that is driving the car with me. But if I have a strong concentration, if I have a strong determinations, no matter what that person say, I know that because I have something I want to share with that unfortunate, uh, needy person, that's mean homeless person, regardless of what that person say. So again, with the strong determinations, we could do things that mm, we could overcome the criticism, judgment, comments from other people that we may recognize their comments, criticism, uh, and so forth are not according to the situation, like that example. So that's why without my training, without having the firmness in our mind, it's not easy for us to make commitment. It's not easy for us to follow things that we want to do. So that's why my training is so important. And another things before I provide some information about this wise concentration, let me share with you some uh, benefits of having my trainings. Let me show you first this video clip then.
Very powerful, a tool for achieving what you want in life. There is a new report finding 40% of us now are turning to alternative treatments, especially meditation. And Dan Harris asked the questions about the growing proof that that works.
Yeah. Meditation, once considered supremely flaky, is now being used by the Marines, by corporate executives from General Mills to Target to Google, by students in classrooms all over America, and now, according to this new study, by roughly 3 million patients on the recommendation of their doctors.
We weren't expecting to see such a high rate of referrals. That was really surprising to us.
Dr. Rex Hoffman recommended meditation to his patient, Danilo Ramirez, who had stage 2 lymphoma and was too claustrophobic to endure the treatments, which required wearing this large radiation mask. It worked.
It was beautiful that my mind was able to control my heartbeat, my breathing, my relaxation. I see us using it more with our patients.
The awareness of the breath.
Researchers say meditation doesn't just relax you, it can physically change your brain. Earlier this year, a Harvard study looked at people who took a mere 8-week course in meditation and found that these two parts of their brains associated with self-awareness and compassion actually grew, while this part associated with stress shrank. There are lots of different kinds of meditation, but the kind most doctors recommend does not involve wearing robes, chanting, lighting incense, or joining a religious group. What it does involve is 3 very basic steps. Step number 1, sit comfortably. Step number 2, focus on your breath. Feel it going in and out. Step number 3, when your mind wanders, which it will a million times, to things like, did I feed the dog? Where are my keys? And what am I having for dinner? Every time your mind wanders, just gently return to your breath. I've interviewed corporate executives who say meditation has made them more focused and effective. And one rock star who says it cured his stage fright.
If I wasn't meditating, if I still had so much stage fright, I might still be in my shell.
That's a pretty big change. So those people who had the good part of their brain plumped up, how long did they meditate a day?
Just 30 minutes a day. And there's some indication that if you do less, it will still work. And there's also all sorts of fascinating studies that show that meditation can reduce your blood pressure, boost your immune system, and even make you nicer.
Nicer.
My wife has encouraged me to try that.
Yeah, and you look wonderful tonight. I just want to say.
Okay, thank you. So that is the part that I want to show the benefit of meditation. This has been applied in all professions, occupations nowadays, in healthcare, in education, in politics, in business, and so forth. So again, we need to recognize those benefits, and also we need to recognize the power of the mind. That's why the Buddha said that in order to have the healthy lives, we need to train our mind. That's what we call mind training about. So let me put this way: if we don't train our mind, there's no way for us to have the right intention, or wise intention, or wise views, understanding about life. Our mind would be changed from moment to moment, would be waving. It raise all kind of doubt. It may raise all kind of fluctuation in our mind that we would hesitate to do things that we want to do. And that's why right concentration is so important. And like the driver of the cars, I myself as the one that control the car. The body is like the cars, and the mind is like the driver. Even the cars is old, it's not in good shape, but as well as it's drivable, the skillful driver can drive the car everywhere. But what happened? Even brand new cars um, uh, was driven by a confused person uh, or unskillful drivers. Eventually, the car may be crashed. So that's why the driver is so important to control the cars and so do the mind. If we old, sick, and so forth, but as long as we have tolerance in mind, as long as we have a strong mind and determined mind, we would overcome the physical illnesses. So that's why my training is so important for us to have. And another thing is that why do we need to say wise concentration instead of unwise concentration? So we know now that many children and youths, not only in this country but everywhere, so somehow they get stuck with what we call video games, computer games, addictions. They focus their mind on computer games, on violent games, uh, and so forth. That's why after playing those games, there will be more violence, and there may be more uh, mm, uh, uh, fluctuated mentally. Uh, so that's mean because they concentrate on those violent games, uh, and so forth. That's why it disturbs their mentality. That's they could not calm their mind. So that's why in this passage, in these categories, and would I say that we need to have wise concentration. That we need to focus some things on the neutral route, not the things that we like or dislike. So here, like we have discussed before, how minds uh, are so frustrated from moment to moment constantly. So let's put this way: when we see someone else at the first time, what we call the first impression. So most of the time, we wouldn't have the thought whether we like that person or don't like that person. So it's not easy for us to remain neutral when we see or we encounter or interact with that person. So again, the first impression or the first thought we may have with any stranger is that we like that person or don't like that person. So that's why our minds are fluctuated from moment to moment. We stay in one pole and others not in the middle, not the neutral route. No, we stay in the pole of like or love, or we stay in other poles, dislike, um, hatred. So that's why in my training, we need to focus on something that help us to remain neutral so that we can stay in that kind of equilibrium or neutral route to observe things. For example, if we focus our mind on the one that we love, for example, like we focus our mind on our spouse, on our lovely children, our friends, and so forth. Yes, we have the tendency to think more about them, to attach to them, and whichever thing happen to them will affect our life. For example, if our uh, children they fail in school, it may hurt us too. If our friends they are successful in business, definitely we'll be proud of them. So whichever thing happened to them, it will eventually happen to us. And on the other hand, if we focus on the one that we don't like, or the foe, or the enemies, the one that step on our foot, the one that harm us before, the one that criticize, slandering, or putting us down before, when we think about them, or the more we think about them, the more hatred or anger we may have. So that's why it's better not to focus on this type of people, the one that we love, like, or the one that we dislike, um, so that we train our mind to remain neutral, to have the neutral judgment toward anyone else. So that is why, like I mentioned recently, for some children or youth, they focus their mind on the games, the movies that maybe violence, uh, or all kinds of action as disturb their mentalities. Or, for example, if they watch killing movies or shooting movies, eventually they have that kind of mental training of killing or shooting other people in the real times. And we know there's some stories that some young men, after playing video games, I mean, the shooting or killing video games for a while, and they use the real guns or weapons to harm others. So that's why the mind training is so powerful in the positive and the negative way too. So that's why here in the Buddhist, what we call wide concentration, that we need to choose some topic that help us to remain neutral, so that our mind would not be frustrated in either pose, like or dislike pose. We would have our mind to remain calm. Um, so again, with that type of calmness, like the video clips that we just watched, it would help us to find the meanings of lives. It would help us to overcome all kind of difficulties in life, and even with certain type of mind training, it will help us to um, reshape our brain. And nowadays, what we call that term um, neuroplasticity. Our brains can be changed. It can sink down or can expand, depending upon how we use. So let me show you the sense proof of meditation, a sense power of meditation.
For thousands of years, people have practiced meditation for spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. But from a scientific perspective, how exactly does meditating affect your body? Does it really do anything? It all starts in the brain. During meditation, brain scans see increased activity in regions directly correlated with decreased anxiety and depression, along with increased pain tolerance. The default mode network, in particular, is activated when one's mind is at rest and not focusing on the outside world, and has been found to improve memory, self-awareness, and goal setting. Want to be more caring to your friends and family? When scientists compared the brains of Buddhist monks to new meditators, they found the region of the brain associated with empathy to be much more pronounced in the monks. It also literally changes your brain waves, and we can measure these frequencies. Meditators have higher levels of alpha waves, which have been shown to reduce feelings of negative mood, tension, sadness, and anger. And if that wasn't enough, it also physically changes our brain shape and size. Studies found that after 8 weeks of a meditation program, gray matter was more dense in areas associated with learning, memory processing, and emotion regulation. And yet the amygdala, which deals with stress, blood pressure, and fear, had decreased gray matter.
When we look at the entire body, not only do we see decreased blood pressure, but it can also increase the variability of your heart rate. And while this may sound harmful, it actually plays a critical role in properly transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout your body. Think you're getting sick? In a study where both meditators and non-meditators were given the flu virus, meditators were able to produce a greater number of antibodies and had increased immune function. If we go a little deeper, we can even see changes on a cellular level. Your chromosomes have protective protein complexes called telomeres, which help reduce damage to your DNA and lower cell death. And a shortened telomere length has been linked to several diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Amazingly, when cancer survivors completed a meditation program, their bodies showed significant increases in telomere length. It's believed that psychological intervention, particularly decreasing stress, has a direct effect on the enzyme telomerase, which has been shown to counteract shortening by adding DNA to the shrinking telomeres. Of course, meditation is not a substitute for other medical advice or a healthy lifestyle. We don't want you leaving this video thinking it will cure cancer. But much like hitting the gym can grow your muscles and increase your overall health, it seems that meditation may be a way of working out your brain with extra health benefits. And since your brain controls, well, all of you, why not relax and say, every once in a while? And if you like working out your brain, be sure to get our ASAP Science book.
Okay, so you see that all kind of benefit of practicing meditation. It may reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and even it be helpful for the terminal illnesses like cancer and so forth. Not talking about it will increase our wisdom, our patience, our compassion, and so forth. And of course, these are the actual benefits that has been proven by thousands and thousands of scientific researches. And definitely, people in the past, they use meditations to attain enlightenment. Of course, for modern age people, the word of enlightenment probably too far away to reach. But at least as long as we apply certain types of meditation practice, we could bring those benefits. And the next one, I want to show you one more times how benefits the brain is when we do meditation.
Researchers have known for decades that meditation can improve someone's physical and mental health. It can relieve stress, lower blood pressure, and lift someone's mood. But only in the last 10 years have neuroscientists taken a serious look at the changes in brain structure underlying some of meditation's benefits. Like everything else we do, meditation rewires our neural circuits, pruning away the least used connections and strengthening the ones we exercise most. Studies looking for signs of these changes usually focus on mindfulness meditation, which challenges people to keep their attention fixed on their thoughts and sensations in the present moment. Scientists acknowledge that many of these studies are small and not ideally designed, but at this point, researchers have gathered enough evidence to be confident that their findings are not just flukes. Experiments suggest that Buddhist monks have really robust connections between scattered regions of their brains, which allows for more synchronized communication. Expert meditators also seem to develop an especially wrinkly cortex, the brain's outer layer. We depend on the cortex for many of our most sophisticated mental abilities, like abstract thought and introspection. Several studies have confirmed that meditation can increase the volume and density of the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped area of the brain in the middle of the skull that is absolutely crucial for memory. And although areas of the brain responsible for sustaining attention usually shrink as we age, meditation counteracts this decay. An increasing number of studies show that meditating for as little as 12 to 20 minutes a day for several weeks can sharpen the mind. In these studies, meditators have scored higher on tests of attention and working memory, which is the ability to temporarily store and manipulate information in one's mind. Some lifelong meditators in their 50s and 60s can even outperform 20-somethings on tests of visual attention. So if you're interested in trying meditation, you should probably start as soon as possible. For Scientific American's Instant Egghead, I'm Ferris Jaber.
Okay, you see that with these video clips, I think that's sufficient for us to recognize the benefit of practicing meditations It's not only for enlightenment, awakening, but also for the health benefit physically, mentally, and spiritually. So again, if we recognize us, we would put effort into the practice of meditation, what we call the mind training. So without the mind training, again, um, most of the times we just follow the patterns, the habitual patterns that we may have. For example, when we watch movies, when we see other people interact with each other, we may imitate, follow the norms conventionally, like other people are doing. Like when we were young, we were trained or taught that we have to behave like male or female if you are male and female, or we are taught to behave like students. Even when we get older, definitely we are told or follow the norms of the communities and society. Uh, and on the top of that, when we see other people interact with each other, the way that they treat each other, whether it's in positive way or negative ways, whether it's in the pleasant way and unpleasant way, we still follow that norm. We still follow that kind of interaction. For example, if we uh, see someone that criticizes us, that slander us negatively, our ego, our instinct uh, pop up, and it try to protect us from those criticism or slanderings. Either we walk away from that person, or if we fight back verbally, or even sometimes um, physically too. But so in this my training, we would not react. We would try to train our mind not to react. We do meditation. This would help us to remain calm at that thought situations, the situation that other people criticize us, other people try to put down us, and so forth. If we remain calm, and eventually we will recognize whether those criticisms, strange are proper or not. We would rate accordingly. If we don't train our mind in the proper way, if we don't maintain the calmness in our mind when we deal with that type of situation or that type of people, most of the time we drag on the spot. When they yell at us, when they swear, when they criticize, most of the time we return like an eyes to an eyes. And of course, with that type of anger, we create more problems down to the line. So, but if we remain calm and let them say whatever they want, and after that we can observe or contemplate whether their slandering or criticism are correct. If it's correct, we would try to correct our mistake. If it's not, we don't need to pay attention. Otherwise, it's not easy. So again, if we don't have this type of mind training, we follow the norms or the way that we observe other people to fight back, and eventually the problems may be more severe. So that's why, as a leader, for example, whether we are the professors, teachers, the employees, the owners of the companies, governors, president, so whoever position we are, as much as we hold that type of leadership role, we need to remain calm so that we could lead other people. Otherwise, if we not remain calm, it is supposed to be influenced by audible comments, and eventually will be led by them. We could not lead them, but we be led by them. If we them have the firmness in our mind, we don't have the calmness in our mind, we could not control our mind. That's why we would be controlled by others, and we would be weak, disturbed by others. We have all kind of doubts and hesitations when we find that we need to do some things, but because of their comments or criticism, we cannot tell ourselves that we need to move forward formally. So again, that's what we call mind training is about. And after watching those video clips, we can recognize the benefits of meditation, of mind training. And so that's why in Buddhism, in this wise training, the Buddha provides us the two basic paths for us to train our mind. What we call the first one, the samatthas, that's mean concentrations. Another one is vipassana, what we call mindfulness. Mindfulness is mean a series of concentrations. When we talk about concentration, there's all kind of things that we can train our mind to be focused or to refocus our mind. It's like we refocus the microscope on the lens or telescope and so forth. So without refocusing our mind, without training our mind to be concentrated, it's easy for us to be disturbed by other external environments. It's easy for us to be influenced by others, comments, criticism, and so forth. So that's why having concentrations and focus is so important. Now, it is common sense that it happen in any circumstances. Like while we drive the cars, we need to focus on driving the cars. And what happened when we drive the cars, but we listen to music, or even sometimes we see people while they drive the cars on the road, they may turn on video clips to watch. Of course, this may be endanger their lives. Within an instant, they may drive down to the cliff, may drive down to the farms. They may be off tracks, out of the freeway, or even within a swing of their wheel. They may hit incoming cars, whether it's in the left side or right side. So that's why with an instant of not concentration or driving or focusing on driving, they endanger their lives. They may encounter car accidents. That's what concentration is so important. And in cooking too, if we don't focus on our cooking, we may put more seasonings or less seasonings that may be distressed. Later on, we may burn our food, and especially for the students, if they don't focus their mind on taking the test, they would not understand the questions of the teachers that they want to respond to. And in employees, if they don't focus them on working with machine, for example, it may raise some problems for them, or the machine may be burned out and so forth. So concentrations and focuses in things we are doing is so important in our life. So that's why most of the time we just think about the past and the future. We swim back and forth between the past and future, but we don't focus in the present moment. And what happened then? If we focus our mind on the past, most of the time, whether we regret for things that we have done, or we proud of things we have done, or we had someone or love someone that we encountered in the past, and we got lost in the present moment. Let's say while we are driving the cars, what happened if we think of the stories about interaction that we have with other people in the past, the one that we love, the one that we hate, and it may affect our driving at the present moment. While we're driving, physically, we think about things in the past, people in the past, that may endanger our life too. And what happened if we think about things in the future? We envision ourselves as a doctor, a president, and so forth. Or we think about how we get the jobs, or we win the lottery, and so forth while we're driving. Again, we lost the present moment while we're driving, and of course, it may endanger our life too. That's why we need to concentrate and focus on things that we're doing now, here and now. It's more beneficial. It is more effective if we concentrate on my present moment. That's why my training is so important, to refocus on to stay with the present moment, to stay with this here and now, instead of thinking about the past or the future, or thinking about other things. So, for example, even while you listen to me, you may recognize as your mind may plan somewhere else, whether it's back in the school, at work, and so forth, and you may not pay attention much about what I try to explain. But if you really concentrate on what I try to explain, is beneficial. That you know what I try to explain here. So again, since time up, let me summarize. The concentrations is so important for us to have. That we need to live here and now, not to let our mind plan back to the past or move forward to the futures. And we need to have this kind of mind training so that we can remain neutral instead of swinging to the side of like or other side of dislike. That's great the fluctuation in our mind that we could not remain calm. And also we see the benefit of practicing meditations physically, psychologically, and spiritually. So since time up, So I'd like to stop here today. And next time we discuss about the methods that Buddha provided us when we train our mind in a certain way. What we call samatha, concentration, vipassana, or mindfulness practice. Nam mô Shakyamuni Buddha.